I'm Pat Prescott, host of Favorite Things on WBGO, and I'm delighted to be talking to the one and only Dionne Warwick. She has a new CNN Films documentary, Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over, which premieres on Sunday, January 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, exclusively on CNN. It's an award-winning documentary feature written, produced, and directed by Dave Wooley and directed by David Heilbronner, and will broadcast with limited commercial interruption on New Year's Day 2023. Perfect way to start off a new year. And I hope that they run it on a loop. This is an inspirational story. Everyone needs to see it, especially beginning a new year when we need all the inspiration that we can get. So we welcome six-time Grammy Award-winning artist Dionne Warwick. How you doing?
I'm good, girl. How you doing?
I am just fine and so happy to see you and so excited about this film. I got a chance to watch it and to just see your life really unfold on the screen. And it's been a pretty amazing career. A lot of firsts for you. First African American to win the Grammy for Best Pop Vocal Performance, and by the way, won the Best R&B one at the same time. Sold over 100 million records. That's a big number, Dionne.
Yeah, it is. I wish I'd been paid for them all.
That would be nice. Let's talk about the beginning, though, because I think most people know that you're a Jersey girl.
That's right.
And where were you born?
Orange, New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised in East Orange, New Jersey.
Uh-huh.
And
What were the greatest benefits for you of growing up in Jersey? What did your childhood really contribute to the woman you became?
you know, being a Jersey girl, well, where I grew up, in fact, I grew up on a street called Sterling Street in East Orange, which I have described, and it was virtually the United Nations. Every race, color, creed, religion. Um, we all interfaced with each other. We all went to school together. Um, I think it gave me a wonderful foundation.
Yeah, I think so too. There is some great archival footage in this documentary. You must have an amazing archive, especially since it comes from a period when video recording wasn't all that commonplace. Were you the keeper of your own archive, or who was keeping up with all this material for you?
No, it's. I think it's all over the place. Everybody has a piece of it. No, I never really kept any archival information. I just didn't feel that was need of it. But apparently, people found it very interesting to find out who and what Dionne Warwick is and was. And I'm thrilled about the documentary because I think that gives a complete insight as to who and what I am.
Yeah, you get a chance to watch your own life unfold. I think the God-given talent was always there, but it seems that you were really serious about getting better all the time. The way that you approach your craft from the very beginning, you were very professional. I love that segment where they talked about how you really studied, even though you already could sing beautifully. You wanted to be even better. Where did that
Mhm.
drive come from?
I came from my parents, I think, more than anything else. Their whole philosophy for not only myself but my siblings, my brother and sister, were was and still is be who you are always. You can't be anyone other than who you are, and be the best you who you are.
Yeah, you've done a good job of that. Being
I try
consistent.
hard.
I've known you for many years and you never change, which is
I know
commendable
you
actually.
good. I like me. I do. And I really don't want to be anybody other than me.
You know who else really liked you?
Mm.
Burt Bacharach and Hal David.
Yeah.
They've got their fingerprints all over your career. And Valerie Simpson, who worked with all of you, is featured prominently in this film. And she called it a musical marriage between the three of you.
Yeah.
And from the film, it looks like it was an engaging and fun relationship.
It was. We became friends. The industry dubbed us the triangle marriage that worked. Um, I feel that I was so privileged to have two of who I feel the most prolific songwriters and composers of our time to be able to sing such incredible words of how David wrote, and very difficult sometimes music that Bacharach composed. Um, I think I've been chosen one.
Yeah, that music really wasn't easy to execute, was it? But it kept
So,
you on your toes. I think that's a part of what has made you such an amazing singer, that you teamed up with people who also had a higher level vision of
mhm,
what music could be.
absolutely, and we were so different from anything that was happening during the period of time that I started recording in the '60s. It was full of groups, and those single recording artists were not singing anything near what I was singing. I think that truly is the reason that all those songs that I sang from the '60s to this very day are still as prolific today as they were then.
It's true, and they did stand out, but they did fit in. And I remember that period very, very well. You made me feel proud to be a Black woman. I was a teenager,
Mhm.
and in a world where I didn't really see myself very much. You were brown skinned like me. You were beautiful. You were fashionable, elegant, confident, and most of all, you had that magnificent voice, singing with intention and with swagger. And I could feel your confidence. Plus, you were unapologetically Black. I can't say
Exactly.
enough about how comfortable you seemed in your old skin. And that was a powerful image for young Black people to see.
Yeah, I feel that before me, my mentors gave me that confidence. People like Lena Horne, who was a very proud Black woman, Diane Carroll, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald. These ladies basically molded me. I wanted to do what they were doing, where they were doing it, how they were doing, and looking the way that they looked. So they were I was totally influenced by them.
Yeah, and in the film, you get a chance to see just the images that you projected with all that elegance. How intentional was your image and the way you presented yourself? And where did your sense of fashion come from?
I was introduced to the couture, couture, uh,
I love the way you
by
say that in the
by
film, by the way.
my lady Dietrich. She introduced me to the designers of Paris, of France, of all of them. I mean, I met all these most incredible designers of today before they became as well known as they are. I met Yves Saint Laurent before he became Yves Saint Laurent. I met Balenciaga before he became Balenciaga. I mean, these people were throwing clothing at me, and it came because of Marlena introducing me to these people. So I felt, well, these are the images that I have been following. So I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
And that is exactly what you did.
Yes, there is.
Another thing that you see in this film is your spirit of activism. And it seems that it was kind of born during that first Chitlin Circuit tour when you first met Jim Crow.
Yes, sure did.
What was that? What was that experience like? And what kind of emotions did that bring to you that really have kept stayed with you all this time?
He wasn't a very nice person. He wasn't somebody I really wanted to get to know at all.
Mr.
And
Crow.
coming from the northern regions of the United States where I lived, I'd never really been confronted with anything like that nature. It was a lesson. It really was something that I suppose I had to learn, like everyone else. I didn't have to like it, nor did I have to partake in it. And I felt that I didn't have to, so I didn't. Um, you know, I find discrimination, especially for the reasons that we were being discriminated for, color of our skin, stupid. And it's a
Even back then, you were never one to hold your tongue, were you? That kind of seems to be a recurring theme throughout your story. People said, Dionne, don't. And you just did what you wanted to do anyway.
exactly. The word no never meant anything to me, ever. that because behind no had to come a yes, always. And that's the way I feel to this very day. You can say no all you want to, but I will say yes.
How important was it to you to just to be able to be yourself and to still be accepted by not only whites who objected to your blackness, but also by black people who initially thought you were too white?
I know. It's amazing how people's opinions are fortunately theirs, not mine. And that's the way I treated it.
Yeah, you certainly did. And you broke down a lot of racial barriers, bringing people together through music. That is really a big part of what your career has always been about, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is the reason we are.
So, how important was it for you to be yourself and to still be accepted by not only white people who objected to your blackness, but also by black people who initially thought you were too white? So she sounds like a white girl.
Yeah, no. In fact, I was depicted as a white woman on one of my CD covers. But
What
that's
a
a
shock when you
better
came out
story.
on stage, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh my God, that's her. Yeah, no, but Grandpa, who was a minister, taught us that we were all put on earth to be of service to each other, and I find that quite easy to do. I really do. I think there is no way in the world that if I see someone who is in need and I feel I have the wherewithal in which to help them, I'm going to do it. There's no reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah, that is an ongoing theme in your life too. When I see some of the early images from the 60s, the resemblance between you and your cousin Whitney is startling, especially in those sequences at the beginning of the documentary. And Whitney even traveled with you on the road, right?
Oh, yeah, when she was a little girl, I took not only her, but like all my cousins. I had Felicia, who is also my cousin. God rest her soul. She just passed recently. Um, I took them on the road with me because I had both of my boys on the road with me. So I said, well, let's make it a family affair. And as it turned out, all my musicians would bring their children out. And so the kids were as much a part of my tours as I was. Um, Whitney was a little devil. She was a little instigator. She got everybody in trouble most of the time. But all of them were very dear to me. They were like my own babies,
Hmm.
and I treated them as such. And she got very accustomed to the road.
Yeah, not only did you see though that physical resemblance, that people who are related to have it's, when I would watch the performance video that's part of the documentary, it seems pretty clear that she must have studied you. I mean, I always kind of thought that, but after watching this film and the many images of you in it, I feel pretty certain about that. Now, am I right?
I think you are. Yeah, she would stand backstage and watch me, and on the occasions where she would come to see me perform, she picked up little traits that I had, tapping the microphone.
Right,
And,
right.
you know.
Yes, it was very, she got a lot of that from
Hmm.
you, and but with that incredible voice, that was just a gift,
Oh yeah,
to us all.
absolutely.
Not just a great musician is Dionne Warwick. She's also a great human being, an activist. And you weren't just an advocate for African American causes. You were in the vanguard of the US AIDS movement with what you did and what you sacrificed to increase awareness and compassion for people affected by AIDS. I think in the film they said tens of millions of dollars and counting have gone to AIDS research from one little song.
Yeah,
That's what friends are for.
true.
Just an experience of a lifetime. How did that thought come to you, and how did you put that all together?
It got to the point that this thing called AIDS, nobody knew what it was until Rock Hudson put a face on it. And I call myself nosy. My grandfather said, no, you're not nosy, you're inquisitive. I said, okay, I'll be inquisitive. I wanted to know what this thing was that was taking the lives of so many people within my industry. You know, we were losing lighting people, sound people, dancers, makeup people, hair people. I mean, they were just leaving us. And I said, wait, something wrong here. We got to find out what this is. You know, because and not only out of concern about that, but also my own self being. I said, well, let's stop talking about it and start doing something. And as a result of my being an advocate for this, I do believe that it reached the ears and eyes of President Reagan for some reason, who made the decision to make me the ambassador of health. You go get him, girl, you know, that kind of thing. And I did. I traveled the entire world, not as a full fledged ambassador, but a goodwill ambassador. To
Exactly.
find out what was being done about this situation in other countries who have buried their heads in the sand and say, oh, we don't have it. Oh, yeah, you do. Let's talk about this. And visiting their health affiliations and the medications that they were using to combat it, I started bringing it back into the States. You know, I would come through customs as hysterical. And okay, what are you bringing now, Dionne? So I'm bringing in drugs. What? And they said, what are you doing? I said, yeah, for AIDS. And they wouldn't even want to discuss it with me. They would rush me through. They didn't want to talk about AIDS. They didn't want to hear the word AIDS. They didn't want to do anything with AIDS. But I was bringing back medications that seemed to be working outside of our country. And for a minute or two there, it started working on some of the people who unfortunately had contracted this disease. I'm still on that train ride. We have not gotten that thing that I'm working so diligently to see called cure, but we have made strides. I mean, major strides, and it's very fulfilling for me to know
Yeah.
that I was a little part of that.
It was a really touching moment too when you visited the AMFAR offices just to see how your vision has come to life.
Hmm.
You were always outspoken, though, honest, truthful, and brave enough to speak up and to speak directly to people who most needed to hear what you had to say,
Yeah.
like all the gangster rappers you met with, especially Snoop, who said he was out gangstered by Dionne Warwick. Tell us that story and what it means to you to have made a difference with misogynistic lyrics.
You know, I feel that because I was accused of being a part of the problem, I said, well, the only way to solidify this is to find out why they feel I'm part of the problem, and if so, make me a part of the solution. And those young men that sat in my living room that day, we conversed, you know, and it's so wonderful to know that I got through to them. You know, when I saw what Snoop had to say and how it affected him, and he really thanked me. Um, I said, well, I've done what I was supposed to do. I got it clear to them that you don't have to do it that way. And I feel very, very good about that. I really do. You know that and Dion had something to say, and they heard what she had to say and took the advice up.
Well, the thing is, they came in there with respect for you already for your body of work. I mean, your music has touched the lives of just about everyone. I think people, everybody knows who Dionne Warwick was, and the younger generation certainly know now as you have become the queen of Twitter.
Mhm.
But what I think is just fabulous. But so many people tried to attack the gangster rap with a frontal attack.
Yeah.
You came from the auntie attack. So
Yeah.
y'all sit down. Let me tell. Like even the fact that you made them come. It was 7 o'clock in the
Good
morning. You said,
morning.
to be at my
They
house,
all showed up too on
and they
time.
were on time,
Yes,
right?
they were.
Because Auntie Dion was summoning us. You've never been afraid to. You say, okay, you love me. Now listen to what I have to say, and that's
Mhm.
kind of what happened there, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, not only listen to what I have to say, but I want to hear what you have to say. And let's converse about that. Let's talk about it and see what kind of conclusion we can come to. Because, like I said, you're accusing me of being a problem. Make me a part of the solution. Tell me what it is I have to do to convince you that I am not your problem. And over the I think it was about 3 hours we sat in my living room and came to a conclusion that, I'm not that bad after all, am I?
Well, those of us who lived through the civil rights movement, I think any of us you ask, we will talk about how education has helped to move our people forward. And I know you've got to be proud of your school. How did that happen?
Oh,
The
yeah.
Dionne Warwick Institute.
It is so, I cannot tell you, it's probably the most important thing that's happened to me is to have my grammar school, which I attended as a child. It was Lincoln School at the time. To have it renamed the Dionne Warwick Institute. And my babies there, I'm so proud of them. And my instructors are just enamored with my babies. And they let them know that. And it's something that I think every kid in the world needs to feel. Needed, loved, and wanting the very best for them. And that's exactly what's going on in my school. I cannot tell you how proud I am to have Dionne Warwick across the banner of that school.
And you don't just have your name on it. You do show up. You show
Oh
up and
yeah,
they get the
absolutely.
hugs and they get the lectures also. You will
Mhm.
tell
Yeah,
them what
they
they need
do.
to hear as well, right?
Uh-huh. They do.
So, Dion, what does it mean to you to be able to tell your own story, unfiltered and authentic?
You know, people generally, Pat, as you well know, have opinions. And oh, I thought, oh, I know, and isn't this, and oh, I saw, and I heard. Okay, all these things, you're entitled to your own opinions. That I will never be able to take from you. However, you are now getting the story from the person that you thought or felt or heard. You're getting the truth now. Here it
Yeah.
is. This is
I
me.
think one of my favorite moments in the film is at the end, as you're sitting there alone in the Apollo Theater where it all began for you
Yeah.
and looking at your story unfold on the screen right after having been, placed on the Apollo Walk of Fame as well. What a moment. What a great full circle moment. Very emotional.
It really was. And sitting in that theater alone, all by myself. Nobody was in that theater but me to watch that film. It was like, wow. Oh, look at President Clinton. What's he say? What? Oh, oh. I mean, to hear and see how people feel about me is sometimes it's overwhelming. It really, and it
Yes.
was. It really was.
But in a very good way.
Absolutely. It was wonderful to know that I've affected people in the way that I wanted to. But that's why I always,
Yeah. And I guess at this stage of our lives, that legacy thing becomes kind of important. And as you look back, what are you most proud of that you've accomplished?
I don't think I've done it yet. I really don't. I don't think I've found the one thing that I could be most proud of. I think I've yet still a lot to do.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that's been done, and you will see all of it in the CNN Films documentary, Dionne Warwick, Don't Make Me Over. It premieres ringing in the new year, January 1st, 2023, on CNN. And this film covers every aspect of Dionne's life, the things we've talked about, including the Paris days with Marlene Dietrich, Las Vegas, and your encounters with Sammy Davis Jr., the death of Dr. King and how that informed your activism. The Psychic Friends Network is in there. Your one woman fight against the negative lyrics and rap. And of course, the death of Whitney and the impact of that as well. The archival footage is amazing. You'll see interviews with family, artists, cultural icons, including Bill Clinton, Gladys Knight, Snoop Dogg, Alicia Keys, your Sissy Houston, your auntie cousin, Valerie Simpson, Smokey Robinson, Carlos Santana, Olivia Newton-John, Barry Gibb, and more.
Yeah.
And Dionne, this is something I'm so proud of this documentary on your behalf and just so proud of you, the woman that you are, and the impact that you've made on all of us. And I just want to say, on behalf of the millions of fans worldwide, we thank you.
Oh, Pat, thank you. You don't make me cry. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do.
And
Thank you.
thanks for sharing some time with us today. It's always just delightful to get a chance to talk to you.
You as well, baby. Thank you.
Yes, indeedy. Yeah, that movie is so good.